Yo, welcome in. B94.9 WATV. We're on Sunday nights. The V stands for Vital. I am Lady Wu. The crew is in the building. Introduce yourselves, everybody.
What's going on? It's your boy, Ready Eddie.
Antoine DeMarcus.
Hey, it's our Lillian K. Bushline.
And it's the one and only Big Daddy Dwayne Thompson in the building.
Hey, and we have special guests in studio. You might want to jump in, so I'm going to go ahead and get you to introduce yourself.
Okay. Hey, my name is DeAndre Peterson, Live Fun.
All right, guys, go ahead and fix that mic. Like, turn it. Yep, just like that. Perfect. So we have not been live in a long time. It's been like a month. So we're happy to be live on your radio tonight. A lot to talk about. So much has happened since we were last here. When were we last here?
I don't know. It was.
I don't remember. The past is the past. Okay, we live in the moment. We're mindful, and being mindful in this moment right now, we are going to check in and see what has happened over the week. So here's your weekend review. Eddie, I'm going to start off with you. What do we have?
Well, I want to talk about the redrawing of these district maps in Alabama that the legislators were supposed to comply with the Supreme Court about. What they were told to do was make 2 of the 7 districts black majority districts, but they have only one, which may have been was not black majority district, and they just increased the percentages on that one. So they basically defied the Supreme Court ruling, and it's probably about to go back to the court to see if they'll accept what they've put out, which theoretically they shouldn't, or if they're gonna have to redraw the map or assign a special elector to draw the map for Alabama.
So in essence, hey, we're gonna do this map like this. Here it is. Like we followed your rules a little bit here.
I mean, this is the reason that they got a majority conservative Supreme Court, so that they can like play around with the numbers essentially, which is what they're doing. They like, let's see what this system will accept. And if they can get away with it, it's just gonna be a real bad precedent for any other state who is told to do something. Yeah. They can just tap dance around it. So
I'm going to start by saying I applaud those who took this all the way to the Supreme Court, saying, hey, this is an issue. And these people look like us, and they're not far in age from us either. Those who like actually went to the top of this. But your governor said that we know our state better than anyone. And I'm thankful to those who did these maps. It was so many maps submitted. And she said that I like that one, the one that we already had in the back, because we knew they were going to do this. So we already had one. Y'all can have this one. And if you don't like it, you can have the other one that Antoine sent. Then I heard people from Germany, everywhere sent maps. I could have drawn a map to show you most of the black people are right here. So let's just make that a number. Why didn't it go like that?
Because if you look where the black people in Alabama are concentrated, it's going to be in the Birminghams and the Montgomerys and them districts. So they not going to want those districts to be the ones that have the majority of black vote.
Dwayne, go in Chris's office, please, and print out a blank map so we can design one from Vital and submit it. I think it'll be dope.
Draw one.
Yes.
someone pass the crayons.
Yes, because like all we need to do is just kind of trace, like it's not hard. We'll see what happens with it. How y'all feel about it?
It sounds like we're a little quiet on it. I mean, because at the end of the day, we're gonna keep pushing, and we hope that people do the right thing. But we've got to keep it in the forefront. We got to keep it vital. We can't just be quiet about it. How about that?
The statement that you made in the beginning, y'all a little bit quiet about it. Everybody's been quiet about it because, for one, I don't think that they are looking at the fact that even though this is Shelby County or in other, well, no, not Shelby County, but where it started, it didn't start right here in our area. It doesn't impact us personally. And so I don't really have a lot to say about it. I haven't really been following it. That's what I've been hearing.
Yeah, and that's the thing with us. Sometimes we have to realize it trickles down to us. But
Absolutely.
when things don't truly just touch us, like put his hands on us or actually put his hands on our children immediately, we kind of veer from it and we kind of, let it kind of slide by. Oh, well, that wasn't here, or our people don't do that, or our police, just things that happen. We kind of put it, but then when it happens here, we're like so surprised by it, but it had been happening. You know what I'm saying? It's only going to be a moment or a certain time before it gets to you.
So the big issue is like ideological issues.
Okay.
The reality is, if the conservatives and Republicans, if their ideals about how the country should be were as popular and as desired as they say it is, they wouldn't need to pull cheap tricks in order for these wins. The people would say, we're going to go with y'all's ideals. But the fact that they are using these tactics means that they don't believe it. They understand that the numbers of conservatives in their way of existing are dwindling. And Florida and Texas end up being states for ground zero legislation to see how it would look like in other Republican states. So Ron DeSantis has pretty much changed all the legislation in Florida to make it where they about to have a Republican governor for the unforeseen future.
Wow.
And it's possible to do that in these other states, which is why it's important to fight for these changes or at least be aware of these changes. So when
And
it
how
comes
they
time to
can-
vote,
Yeah.
you know what's going on in the situation and who supports the things that you need.
Great breakdown on that. Might it include 459
Yeah.
in any way?
Not in any capacity in this congressional map.
Well, let's talk about 459.
Let's talk about it.
Let's go to 459. Twong, you driving?
I ain't got no gas.
Lillian, can we ride on in that new truck you got? Cause this one here is taking us under. Like,
Come on.
okay, you gonna drive us to 459?
Yeah, sure.
I know you will.
Let's go.
All right. So the press conference happened this week in the Carlee Russell case, and more. I wanted it to be over. I wanted us to not be talking about it, but we can't stop. It's like you just can't stop talking about it. For one, she hasn't said anything. So we can't stop talking about it. But here we are live on air since that has happened, and nobody talks about things how we do. They don't have the vital conversation about these things that we do. So what are some things that you wanted to say on the radio that you've only been able to say to your friends and to Facebook? Let's talk about it.
It was a lie from the beginning.
A lie or maybe a misunderstanding?
No, it was a lie. It was a lie.
Maybe a
if
test run.
anybody has driven down 459 at 9 p.m. at night, you really can't see anything off the side of the road unless you're just particularly paying attention to it.
As you should be.
On the side of the road?
Everywhere.
If your lights ain't flashing.
You ain't looking.
Even in that, I'm not looking. You know what I'm going to do? Stretch my hand that way and say, Lord, send somebody.
Okay.
And I'm going to keep it moving.
All right. Well, other thoughts? Yeah, I had so much to say online this week and last week. I want to hear it on the radio.
The only thing I want to talk about is how sharp my boy was on the press conference. He pulled that suit out the night before, laid it across the bed, and he looked back and he said, my, the work I have done.
If you're going to do it right.
Oh, man. I knew from the beginning that, they're not going to leave any crumbs on the table. They're going to dot every I and they're going to cross every T, and they're going to look good doing it. So that's why they slow rolling it right now, making sure that they don't mess up on anything, because this is a win for Hoover at the end of the day. This is the best press, best image, best anything. This is a summer scrimmage for them. They needed this. They brought a Black woman home safely. Well, they ensured that a Black woman made it home safely.
Yeah.
No longer are we talking about EJ or anything else. We made sure that a Black woman made home. High fives, we did that.
Okay.
Go Hoover.
Okay. Perspective.
No, they're gonna say that they ensured that that she made it home safely. They didn't bring her home. Nobody. She brought herself home, walking. But yeah, they ensured though. They were part of the process to ensure that she made it home safely. That's the narrative that they're gonna run with.
Okay.
So let me just jump in. I believe it or not, I just didn't even really touch it too much online.
Yeah, that was smart.
It was a whole lot of things to say, but I am a criminologist. Like I did like public safety. I taught public safety. I did criminal justice. I digested the whole thing. And I just want to say shout out to AV. He came on and really kind of broke it down, and people really went at him. A.B. Shabazz on line. So, and
Okay.
they kind of like really went at him for breaking it down. He was like one of the first to say something, the math ain't mathing. You dig? And so a lot of times when you're not, or you haven't been around, or you don't think criminalistically, you can't believe someone would go to any lengths of terms to do certain things.
Like the Google searches and things like that.
Well, just that, not even that far. You ever watch like Criminal Minds, or you watch Murder, She Wrote, or how to do certain things, and then you be like, they did what? They did, huh? And so you just want to believe what's best about people. Although it was the worst thing for her to be kidnapped, that was the best out of the two things that could have happened, was for her to really be kidnapped and come home, say, or you know what I'm saying, be returned safely. And so when it all boils down, and the facts show that the math wasn't mathing in the things that they were doing, it really was a disappointment to a lot of people, because they couldn't see themselves going through that. But I will say, when you were younger, you thought yourself into some things that you didn't think yourself all the way through. You just wasn't 25 when you did it. So now, what is the mindset of your dreaming out of a whole thing? I just don't think she ever thought it would get to this grandeur of a scale when you got the alphabet boys involved, the FBI, the Secret Service. I don't want them nowhere near my phone. You know what I'm saying?
Because what is this? Okay, I see where you're going with that. Gets really deep there. Anybody else before I speak on this? Look, Deandra, like, I'm not here for that. All right, so
I got one thing.
Yes.
Okay, so I don't know if you want to get into this, but a lot of people took backlash for making jokes.
Oh, yeah, we can go there. Backlash for jokes. Friends fell out. People started looking at people that provide services to them in a different light. Fired people. Friends fell out. Church members said that you shouldn't be here because you're not as saved as we are, because you want your prayers back. Oh, my goodness. I've seen a lot.
Oh, yeah. And I won't lie. My jokes flew on my page. They flew all week.
I thought you were going to go viral in a couple of them, though. You did have me. I was like, my girl. I did see all of your comments, because I follow her online, and it was like, whoa, she got him.
The jokes flew all week, and they were fun. I mean, we laugh at stupid things. That's what Birmingham does.
Yeah, y'all do a lot.
Yeah, I was told as a business owner, I shouldn't say anything. I shouldn't have any type of opinion or anything on this. I should be quiet. And shout out to everybody who's now in my friends you may know on list, because I see that I've lost a few friends this week as well. Oh yeah.
Okay. So the things that I opened that part of it with impacted you personally, or social media personally, because those are two different realities.
Yeah, I mean, if y'all can't take jokes, I'm sorry. I mean, yes, we all mess up.
So pass the mic to your counterpart, because you were there, you were going. So like, as far as like, tell me about the idea of
the
speaking on
part?
it. Yeah, speaking on it and just sharing that Birmingham space
I
about
think
it.
that's just Black culture, period. You know what I mean? Like, when we've been through something, whether it's seriously traumatic or it's in something like this, we're gonna joke about it just to, in a form, to get some release. Because eventually, I'm gonna say this, I did pray for her, like when I first heard about it.
Okay.
Though it didn't make sense in my head, but
just don't pray.
Like he said, anything is possible. So yeah. But then as the facts came out, it was almost like the Jesse case. Like, when that first came out, 2:00 in the morning.
Which case?
Jesse Smollett.
Oh,
Juicy.
So I had a meme that I saved in my phone. That was that one. It was Juicy Smollett turning into Carlee. I said, now this is probably the best one, because it doesn't say anything, but it says everything. I having a daughter, being a woman, being a helper, I didn't want to say anything that I would have to eat later. Now, and being a therapist, and being a radio personality, and being a public figure, there are things that I am mindful of saying. I'm going to say what I want to say, but I'm going to be mindful of what I say, especially depending on what the situation is. This is one of those situations where I felt that anything can come of this. And I don't need somebody for when I run for president of the United States to come back and say, she's not really for all people, because look what she said about the young lady in her hometown back in 2023.
See, now that whole thing, I hate that. Like,
you're going to go look.
This is my humanistic side, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody's human. Why does that have to be a thing that comes and bite me later?
Oh, it's going to. Because we're going to Google you. We're going to see everything.
But that doesn't mean I don't have a negative opinion about Black women. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
My issue was it actually hurt Black women more so than it did help them. Because, and this is the crazy part, I know lately within Birmingham, these Black girls have been reported missing, only to find out that they laid up with their boyfriend and they didn't want their parents or friends or cousins to know about.
Look, we did a show on that. You remember there was a young lady missing from right here in Birmingham from the cell phone store. It's been years ago now. We interviewed her dad on the air, and to this day, this young lady has not been seen or heard from. That's been, I don't know, but it was on. I don't know. It's probably been about 6 or 7 years ago. I'm gonna text Ed during the break. Ed, if you're listening, help us remember when that happened. But that's a serious matter that we never heard anything about. They had video footage of her either getting in the car, being put in the car, and that was that. And after that, nothing but speculations and conspiracies as to what happened to her. So I just, I want to just talk about that piece of it, but then get into these facts before we go to our first break.
I think the bigger issue of the whole thing is the naiveness of people, if that's even a word.
It is tonight.
Hey, ding ding. That, you have to take certain facts about it and make a judgment.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that when we were saying, oh yeah, she's lying, I don't believe it. And now to see that this is the thing, because I actually had a debate with a guy on one of my posts. He was telling me, oh, well, they haven't officially came out and said that. I said, well, this is what the streets are saying. And we're local. So I can understand if this happened in Florida and we're getting this information, we're not privy firsthand to it. But since we live here and these people who know her are saying these things about her, why that can't be factual?
Oh, hey, Isaiah. Isaiah said that happened 6 years ago. So because it's local and we know her, I can't listen to the streets. So when we hear things in the streets about these streets that we're in, some of those things can be taken for what they are. Okay. Let's go to the part very quickly, Mr. Sharp, about the kind of what Dwayne said, the amount of mental gymnastics that it takes to think of such things.
I mean, I don't know this person, but this Carlee has to have had an upbringing that allowed her to be imaginative or not honest or not like you're normal up to this day, and then all of this transpired.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying.
And mental health ain't premeditated, right? So when you talk about it being mental health issues, you're talking about somebody who reacts in a moment because something has happened internally. But when you start talking about searches and planning and things like that, it gets into a different type of
mental health
issue.
Yeah.
I think it's somewhat the mama. It plays a part in that, and in the part of being manipulative. I think she got over a lot on the mama. You know what I mean? Because when they did the Today Show interview, right? At this point, you heard her testimony to the police, and you still come out and say, I believe my daughter was kidnapped. What part of that gave you she was kidnapped?
Okay. All right. 994-8949, 994-8949 is the number if you want to get in on this conversation from a vital perspective. I've heard it so many different ways, but I'm hearing it different tonight because this is how we do. The other part of all of this is that we do have facts and a timeline now. And with that, we can do a lot of investigative work. How many of you got investigative badges over the week? You were digging. Shouts out to April down at Etheridge. 7:13 to 7:15, 49 hours. That's what we're looking at. And this caused a lot of public interest and fear. From her job, we're taking a robe and tissue from her job. They were never located. From Target, she purchased granola bars and Cheez-Its, not located. A nice dinner from Taziki's, which was left in the car along with her watch and her purse. And yeah, something that I observed was there was no fear or concern really on the 911 call. It was a very just theatrical call. No, really, no, I didn't feel anything from the call. The man came out of the trees. Then there was the baby that was walking on the side of the road. Then there was the female that she did not see. And these are notes that I took from.
Did you
listening to
include
the call.
the 600 yards
I
she
I
traveled?
wrote that several times.
On
Yes.
okay.
6 football fields. Okay.
6.
All right.
6 of them.
From the 18-wheeler to a car.
Played in her hair.
Made her get undressed and took pics.
Polished her toes.
She escaped multiple times. And after I sat down and thought about that, I said it could be nothing but God for you to be able to escape from the kidnappers multiple times. Because some people never get away.
No bruising.
Just a torn shirt and a small injury to her lip.
The most considerate abductors I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
They made sure she made it home safely.
Gave her cheeses that she
fed her
bought.
cheeses, gave her a pedicure. I mean, you couldn't get a better scenarios. You know, shout out to the abductors.
Yeah. Okay, so let's look at this. Here are the internet searches. And I just put them in shorthand. You have to pay for how much you have to pay for an Amber Alert. Internet search for the Birmingham bus station. Another search for one-way Birmingham to Nashville. Another search for the movie Taken. She searched on her cell phone and at work.
Can I say that's what took me out?
The searches.
When that man, no, particularly the movie Taken.
You're like,
that, like when that man in that Steve Harvey suit said that, I was done. I exited out of the whole thing and I said, "Yep, that."
Google, how do I break into a register?
Open it up. Now, how do I take money out
without being caught?
See, I don't want to talk about it. Okay, I'm through. I'm through.
Who has a tutorial on that anyway?
Yeah.
Well, the same people that have the tutorial on how to steal cars and how to kill people, all that.
No, listen. The particular Google search was without getting caught.
Okay, you're right. I'm through. If you have any comments before we go to this quick break, call now. 994-8949. 994-8949 is the number. We're just recapping from the vital perspective of all of the different things that we've heard and figured out over this week.
What I didn't like was the excuse was she's having a mental crisis. Why are we weaponizing mental issues, especially when you're in the wrong?
Okay, good question. How about we talk about that in the break? When we come back, we're going to bring our guest in to talk about something else. It was not a Google search. I'm blown away that Lift Fund was not one of those Google searches because maybe some funding could have been provided for all of this. We're going to talk to our special guest when we come back in. And during the break, we're going to keep talking off the air. If you're streaming with us, we're going to jump in about the mental health aspect of this thing. Right here on B94.9 WATV. We're on Sunday nights. The V stands for Vital. We'll be right back.
Yeah, I mean, it
okay.
can be mental health.
Huh?
Well, they look like they have a mental issue.
Wow.
I mean, she can be going through a mental crisis, and the mental crisis still not justify the actions that she took in this journey.
So the way I look at this, like I said, mental health does not start with an action. It's not just oh, this is my mental health acting up, so I'm gonna go out. No, it's not like that. I think what people are doing is like grouping diagnosis with behaviors, with emotion, like we're grouping everything together and saying that, you know, don't it's not mental health when you do these things. Everything is mental health. Everything starts with a thought.
My thing is, I think it's some undiagnosed situations.
Maybe.
And I think that it's not, like he said, I don't think it just happened. I think people have been ignoring her ability to be creative and speculative because anybody that this happened, she has been creative before. And people have just kind of ignored it or might let it go. It wasn't this deep. And if this hadn't reached the pinnacle that it did this time when so many people didn't get involved, if they had found out or had known these things, right, and just taken care of itself, it would still be developing for more years. I think it would have just gone further and further until it got violent or even her hurting someone. Because, you know, we didn't even talk about the blocking your boyfriend or not. You know what I'm saying? Then the unblocking them at the perfect time. All the other things that happen within this time span. I actually, in the end result, do feel sorry for somebody who cannot think things all the way through, or do not think things all the way through. And that's what we have to realize. Even when she came back to the neighborhood, do you not realize everybody in there was gonna have a Ring camera? Do you not know they're gonna be able to track you from the time you hit the street? Even your gate got a ring camera. I've got a video camera. So
it could very well be. It could very well be several things, and that's why I'm always thoughtful about how to approach a situation. Like, yes, a lot of stuff I thought it was hilarious, but that doesn't change the fact that there are some things in this situation that we didn't consider. We still, a lot of people still aren't considering. Like 25 years old, my brain just probably full of shape and developed, and then whatever issues I've already had, now they've been magnified. So why not take that approach to get me out of it?
And I like the term mental wellness better, because when you talk about wellness, you talk about an active upkeep of what's going on in your psyche.
So right now,
because if her parents have been enabling her for these things, it was just a matter of time before that threshold of when you're going to activate these behaviors in a grand problematic way shows up.
And I think the mother does a lot more enabling, but she does more manipulating with the father, because
Birmingham's hospitality industry. So come on out and support them. Own a bar or restaurant and want to sign up, or want to get a list of those participating? Go to birminghamal.gov/SIPS. That's birminghamal.gov/SIPS.
B94.9 WATV, we're back. Thanks for hanging out with us throughout the commercial break. Just still chatting about the Carlee situation. Thoughts on Carlee is what we call that. And I know everybody's been thinking about it. The whole world has talked about that. But we have special guests that were already scheduled. Like, we work ahead. We think our steps through. And I heard this man speak on a panel, I guess it's been a few months ago. And I was just really impressed. He said something. I'm not going to even say what you said about radio. I'm going to leave that where it was. But we are going to talk about that. But everything that he said, that they wrote finances and business down in a way that I really felt was vital. So welcome to the show, Mr. DeAndre Peterson, the Business Development Officer for the Delta region of the Lift Fund. Hello, and welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. So you've been sitting quietly and patiently preparing to get into your part of the show. Have you had any thoughts on anything that you would like to share as it relates to what you do in your job of Business Development Officer?
Yeah, thanks for having me. I work with Lift Fund. We're actually headquartered in San Antonio, Texas, but we do have office here in Alabama. I cover the whole state of Alabama. We're located in Bessemer at the Downtown Entrepreneur Center, across from the public library.
Okay.
There. Just a little bit about Lift Fund. We are a nonprofit lender. We lend to businesses that can't get lending from your traditional sources, like a bank or a credit union. This could be for any reason. It could be because you possibly got some credit issues. It could be because maybe you have some collateral issues, or just maybe because you're a new business. And some banks don't touch you unless you have 2 to 3 year financials.
Okay.
Now we're going to ask for some of the same thing that the bank asks for, but we're not going to scrutinize it as much. So, for instance, we don't have a minimum credit score that we look for. We look at your last 6 months of credit history. Now, we do look at your personal credit report. We look at your TransUnion to make sure you don't have anything late in the last 6 months. That's like cell phone, mortgage, car note. Now, if you got, and I think we mentioned this in the event, that if you got you change cell phone carriers.
Yeah.
And there's a $25 fee that you forgot to pay equipment. Well, okay, we can work with that. But now if you're late on your mortgage, behind your mortgage, it's probably not the best time to look for a business loan.
Okay, so pause. Just pause, please. 6 months.
Yes.
January, February, March, April, May, June. So up into June, from January to June, you can't be late on your cell phone bill.
Right. Or any other bill.
I'm always late on my cell phone bill. I always pay it. Like, what are we talking about?
When they send that text message.
Yes, like, dang.
If I don't pay nothing, I'm gonna pay that cell phone.
Really? See that? If I'm paying, it's a priority, but I don't want to talk anyway. I just text me. So 6 months. Do you know how long that is? That's like 2 seasons. So tell me, what's the importance of that 6 months? I mean, I hear discipline, but what are you looking for?
Yeah, basically, we're looking for that first of all. Make sure you don't have anything late, and then we're also going to look and make sure you're not over leveraged.
Okay.
And so if you have 5 credit cards and you only have $100 available still left, on all of them are almost maxed out. Well, your debt to income ratio is too high right now to afford anything, much less a business loan. And so we're going to get what's called a global cash flow analysis.
Yeah.
We're going to look at all the money you have coming in from your business, from your job, from Uber, Lyft, from whatever you have, anything you can track and trace.
Okay.
We'll count that as your income, your revenue, compared to everything you have going out. That's your business expenses. That's also your credit card, your personal credit card, your mortgage, and all that, to come up with a debt income ratio. Now, we don't require it to be as low as the bank, but we are looking to make sure that you have the capacity to afford the loan payment. If your business doesn't even make a dime, that's what we're looking for.
Okay, so the debt to income ratio.
Yeah.
I know for a lot of entrepreneurs and small businesses, and most of those who you serve,
Yeah.
that debt to income ratio in our culture, and Twan, I think this is a conversation that you and I would speak very loudly on. We have attained a lifestyle that we like. And I want to look this way, have this, have that, go here, go there.
Yeah.
And my money may not be reported that way. So then what?
Yeah, as far as what do you mean reported?
On paper.
Oh yeah. I mean that's all we got. You know.
See, so then what happens?
Yeah, that's all we got. Yeah, if it's not hitting the bank account, then it doesn't exist. I'll give you a prime example. We was dealing with a barber. I won't tell you what city is close to here.
Remember this story. Okay.
What is Cash App considered?
Oh, we're gonna get there.
Okay,
Just
okay,
pause.
okay.
We're going.
Remember that, don't you?
Yeah, I remember all of it.
So we were dealing with a barber, and I may get these numbers wrong, but I'll get close. And when we looked at his tax returns, he made $20,000 last year. And so I said to myself, okay, you must not be a good barber, because everyone I know make way more than that. He said, no, I'm busy. I'm booked up all the time. So I asked him, what do you do with your money? He said, well, I get it, put it in my pocket. When I need to buy something, I go get it. And so we work with him. So like, even if you put in your bank account and you have to pull it out tomorrow, put it in there. Put it in there so we can see that you're making it. So if it doesn't hit that bank account somewhere, then to us, that's all our underwriters got to go off of, because they don't know you and we don't know you. And so we need to be able to see that money is hitting your business checking account.
Okay.
Business checking account.
Okay.
Yeah.
So first thing I hear is that you need a business checking account.
That's right.
That's what you need. First, you're going to try to get a business loan. But like what Antoine just asked, Cash App, Venmo, Pay.
Yes or no?
A little bit.
Yeah, yes or no. It all depends. Okay. A lot of time when you do get Cash App, some people will deposit it into their banks, and so we can see that going in. But now when you have Cash App and that's all you use for your banking, that's not going to be a good look for the underwriter. They just tell you the truth. That's not going to be a good look for them, because Cash App doesn't give you necessarily bank statements. You can get transaction reports, and you can get that printed off. But then a lot of times, Cash App is designed for like peer-to-peer type stuff. It's not really designed to do business like that, like the underwriter's going to be looking for.
Okay, Dwayne, what you got?
So Cash App business, though, there's an actual way, because I use Cash App for my business. And so it's different from the personal. It actually will give you those things. And what you do is once you cash out straight to your business account. And then it looks like revenue coming into your business. So as long as you take and you correlate the business side of your banking to the Cash App, but the only problem with that on their side is because it's business, it's automatic fees. When it's personal, they give you an option for them not to take fees. When it's a business, since you're claiming business, they're going to take fees out from you. But like you said, in the long run, it helps, because if your mama's saying you 10, somebody's saying you 20, you cash it out to your business bank, and it looks like you're making money through your business in that manner.
Right. Absolutely. And then we will look at those I'm sorry. We will look at those bank statements. So for instance, if if you have a food truck and you're receiving money from people that's buying food, okay, well, we don't need to see somebody sending you money for a pair of shoes, some money for something. All that is in your Cash App.
Yeah.
But your bank statement, everything is coming from the business account. That's perfect.
Yeah. So you say the underwriter, and the underwriter sounds like they are the ones that make the decisions, right?
Yeah. Well, basically, my job and my loan process job is to package the loan for you. You will never speak to an underwriter.
Okay.
The customer won't. So we get to know the customer. We bring them in. We get to know their story. We present the best package and the best plan to the underwriter to kind of represent who that customer is. So that's one reason I tell them, okay, be honest with me up front. Go ahead and tell me now. Because if you get an underwriter, it's going to come out. So, if you late, go ahead and tell me you're late, so we can start working on that now. so I can give them a reason why, especially during COVID. You know, we were a little lax during COVID with that because people were, you know, sick, out of work. So we were letting some things fly, but we had to know that up front. Tell me you know you were sick for 3 or 4 weeks or something like that. Yeah.
Hypothetically, let's just take a hypothetical.
Yeah.
So I have 3 cars, right? 2 of my car notes are perfectly on time all the time. My 3rd car belongs to me in theory, but my daughter drives it. She's late on her car note. How does that affect me? Do I have to have an explanation? Do I have to have her something in writing, or would that knock me out the park because she's been late within the last 6 months?
That's a good question.
Yeah, and we get that all the time. The short answer is you're late on it because it's on
your name,
yeah,
right?
It's in your name. It's on your credit report. Now we'll have a conversation. If she's making the payments on it, it's coming out of her account. You know, we can present that to the underwriter. Okay, I can't guarantee it, but I can show them. Look, it's his daughter. You know, this is her car, but it's in his name. No guarantee it's going to get pushed, but technically, if it's on your credit report, yeah, it's yours.
Oh my goodness. Business owners, you should be tuned in. This is for you. And I know that there are a lot of people doing business. There are tons of people doing business, but they need resources. They need, you know, they can't go to the bank. I've heard of so many people that can't get business loans. They can't get brick and mortar. They can't get the food truck. They can't get this, and that.
Yeah.
But that's what Live Fund does.
Right. And I would encourage them definitely, like right now, we have a product called SBA 7A Community Advantage Loan. And we've always had it, but we've never had it to where it come down to $25,000. And so we can go lower than that, but the SBA Community Advantage Loan can come down to that. Now, the advantage in that is, and a lot of business owners are taking advantage of this, is 2, 1, you don't have to have as much collateral. Okay. So the SBA loan, Community Advantage Loan, basically we'll take available collateral. And so the SBA helps to mitigate kind of a weak collateral. The other point is that if you're renting a brick and mortar or a building, you don't have to calculate that potential rent into your debt income ratio. That's what sinks a lot of businesses. So if I'm a startup and my rent is going to be $3,000, okay, traditionally we would calculate that into your debt income ratio. We don't do that with the SBA.
Okay.
So it's just your current debts.
Does the SBA do? I know some people that didn't get the PPP loans got SBA loans. If they got an SBA loan during the pandemic or around that time, can they get this one as well?
Yeah, they can. This is the difference. Generally, the SBA does not do direct lending except in time of pandemic or hurricane or something like that. The EIDL loan, the EIDL loan, was the one that came straight from the SBA. When you get a loan from a lender like us, it's not a direct SBA loan. It's a SBA backed loan. So that's a 30-year, 2% interest, whatever. That's you're not gonna see that again unless we have another pandemic. But coming to us, it's a Live Fund loan that's backed by the SBA. Okay. So you can have an EIDL loan, PPP, and a traditional SBA loan from us.
Okay.
Yeah. If I have an established business with a business partner, if we were to apply for this loan, is it going to go off of both of our information, one of our information, the previous history of the business?
Good.
Yeah. What's going to be calculated in the day?
Yeah, it depends on how your business is structured. So if your partner is at least 20% owner, then he or she will have to go on a business loan. And so if they're less than 20, they're 19, 18, whatever, they don't have to. They can, but they don't necessarily have to. So anyone with at least 20% ownership of the business have to be on the loan. So we'll look at their credit. We'll look at their cash flow. If they got another job, we recommend a requirement is all our startups got to have an alternative source of income. So if you're a startup, you got to have a job, or some type of employment or money coming in.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm looking at some of I see one of the streams. I see some people plugging other business owners in it. So I always love to see that. Crystal, we still got a seat for you at some point. Yeah. DeAndre Peterson, Lift Fund, is in the studio sharing with us about the resources that are available. I know a lot of times I hear small business owners in our community talk about how there are no resources for us. And I know that there are resources for us. I know that a lot of times we just don't know who and where they are. Yeah. So it was really amazing for me to be able to be in this space with you when I met you. What is something that you see a lot of times that business owners don't have when they come? Like the most basic thing that they don't have?
Yeah.
What is that?
It's paperwork.
That's what the mayor told me. He's like, I just don't be having the paperwork. I said, I'm going to tell them.
Yeah, it's documentation. You know, even with like that second round, you know, the first round of PPP, everybody kind of got it.
Yeah,
But now that second round, you notice didn't as many because you know they started cracking, they started making more requirements. So do you have your LLC documentation and is it active? You know, do you have a name reservation? You know, do you have y'all were talking about earlier an accountant, a bookkeeper? You know, you don't necessarily have to have that, but you need to be good in that if you don't have one. And so can you see me your bank statements? Can you see me your profit and loss statements, your balance sheets? Do you have it, you know, in the cloud or somewhere where you can send it to me within an hour? You know, or do you have to dig? You know, and do you have a business
try to figure
plan?
it out, huh?
Yeah, do you have a business plan? Like these are resources that, like, for instance, a business plan is something you can get for free, and people will pay somebody to do it for you. And normally, it's probably not the best. You can do. I can send you a free template if you want it. Yeah, if you want to do that. So yeah, that's what it is. A documentation. If you're in a restaurant, do you have all the license and certifications that you need? You know, can you send those to me? Because underwriting, they're gonna ask for that.
So the documentation and paperwork would be the biggest need. Okay.
What? Go ahead,
Eddie.
I say what businesses I guess do you see being the safest ones or the ones with the highest turnover of success in terms of people getting approved for loans for them and then they actually making the capital to transition to paying that back?
Yeah, I don't know if there's a type of business, there's a type of business owner. Because you know, you can always say the highest risk is restaurants. That's a high risk industry. You know, so when a customer comes to me, they want to start a restaurant, we're gonna have a strong conversation about, do you think this probably need to be a food truck? You know, like, or I ask them,
that's the question.
That's my question to them.
Okay.
Or what is your background? They say, I'm a good cook. I said, well, that's not gonna get it. You know, because I would rather have somebody with a good business background that can't boil water, as opposed to somebody who's a good cook with no business background. Because I can find a cook. You know, I can hire a cook somewhere, but I need to know that you know how to run a business. So it's not necessarily a type of business, but it's a type of business owner. The type of business owner who is seeking funding. I like to say you seek funding like you shop for a fire hydrant, not a fire hydrant, a fire extinguisher. You go to the store and buy a fire extinguisher when you don't need it. So the best.
Wait a minute, has anybody ever bought a fire extinguisher? You bought them? It didn't come with where you were.
Yeah. So
have y'all bought? I've never bought a fire extinguisher ever.
Yeah, you get one for that issue.
It's already in there. They were already there.
Yeah.
You in the car too? This is so vital, and you ain't even in the mind. He said you need a fire extinguisher in your car. Okay.
Right, but you didn't get it. You didn't get it when your house was on fire. Right. They're like if a business owner comes to me and they apply, and 30 seconds later they call, okay, what I'm looking like. I said, well, we just he ain't even got to me yet. All right, and so you apply for that funding when you don't need it, so you can have it when you do.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I got a question.
Go ahead.
I know we're particularly talking about funding, right? But let's just say you have an aspiring barber who hasn't quite established a business. Is there business counseling for them to get them to a loan status?
Yes, absolutely. And every week I refer people to the Small Business Development Center, SBDC. They're located in most college campuses in Alabama and the United States. Alabama State, Troy State, West Alabama, the headquarters in Tuscaloosa in the state. I would send them to the Small Business Development Center. It's of no charge to them. They're not ready for funding. They'll walk them through. They can do the analysis for them. They can do feasibility studies, all this stuff for free for them. So yeah, I would definitely send them there. And they don't do funding. So when they get ready for funding, they send them back to us.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Eddie, you hear something? Dwayne.
Yeah. My question is, and I guess it's two-part. Do you find that a lot of business owners or people who want funding aren't willing to do the work, or they get frustrated with the paperwork? One of the things that I found out, just in working in business, I have a couple of businesses, and the thing that some people are impressed by, some people don't understand, is the amount of paperwork that has to be presented or have it. And I see a lot of people that have the ability to be financed, but they get frustrated with the paperwork part of it. So how do you combat it, or what do you do to help them work along? They can get it, but they're not willing to do the paperwork. How do you work with that?
Yeah, I would say that what I do I have initial conversation with it, because it's new for a lot of people, especially their first business loan. I try my best not to use acronyms. Like when we talk as lenders, we say SBA, SBDC, FDIC. We say all this stuff. I try to have a conversation with them first of all to kind of get their temperament, to see where they are, because it's a different language.
Yeah, break it down. Say the whole word for me.
Right,
please.
right. All like all of that. So I don't say like the Secretary of State. What do you mean? Like when you got your name registered, like that place, right? And so I try to have that conversation with them initially first, and then go ahead and let them know, hey, we're gonna need some of these things. So go ahead and start getting them together. If you need some help, we'll send you to the SBDC. Most of the time, a lot of the times they'll say, hey, I'm working with an accountant. Do you mind if that accountant will contact you? Well, they'll sign a third-party agreement, and I'll talk to the accountant, and get that documentation. But it can be daunting for a lot of business owners. But it's not as daunting as a lot of them think it is. Especially if you want small dollars, like up to $20,000.
Yeah,
it's not a lot of paperwork. It's paperwork that you're going to need anyway, that you should have in place anyway.
I see here business loans from 500 to 500,000.
Yeah.
So that's what you are working with.
Yeah, actually, we'll go up to 5 million, and when you're going to Texas, but now,
and where?
In Texas, we go to 5 million in Texas.
You gonna go to Texas?
Yeah.
Okay. You know,
when the cock it out of shop.
Okay. Oh no.
Now that does come with some paperwork.
You ready to go now?
I need it, but yeah.
Yeah, that's some paperwork. That's some real estate. We're gonna need some good collateral for that.
We'll go. Yeah. I'm thinking it through. Okay.
Yeah.
In a white car, right? Let's go. We got to go to 459 to Texas.
Listen, I was finna say, can we get that 500K to buy for?
You fit? Man, come on. Got a comment over here. A business is only considered a business if the owner can make money without being at work. Otherwise, you have just facilitated yourself with a job. And that comes from Yo Mama's. Okay. And that's a restaurant that we know is successful. So I tend to listen to people that either have a voice like DeAndre and they can deliver the information, or somebody that I see with a successful business like Crystal and Yo Mama's. Like, how often do you see people come in with these $1 million dreams and you can only fund 500 of them?
Yeah, well, maybe not fund that one. That one, yeah, that one.
Dang, okay.
Well, what I'm saying, really, I try to be honest with my customer up front. So some will come in and say, I need $80,000. Well, you may need $10,000 in a better business plan.
Okay.
You may not need to go in brick and mortar right now. To show if you coming right out of the chute with a building, that's a large weight. That mortgage is going to be coming every single month, and not only that loan payment coming in 45 days. And so you've been and not only that, you got to pay taxes too every quarter or whatever. So let's look at that idea first. Let's massage it around to make sure this is exactly what you want to do. We may just start small and then scale.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So it sounds hopeful. If you're interested and you've been thinking about how to elevate your business or your thoughts about business, this is the show for you, or for somebody that everybody that's listening knows somebody that's a business owner and that says that they need, if I had more resources, if I just had more money, or if I had somebody that knew this, I would be more successful in my business. We all know somebody. We may have been that somebody. So what is your background? Like, how did you get into this?
Yeah, it's interesting. It's not finance.
Right.
It's not. I started out, I worked for about 4 years as a college counselor, University of West Alabama. So I worked there in student sports. 8 years. Student support services, about 8 years. So that was in higher education. From there, I worked about 4 years as director of adult education in a nonprofit in Tuscaloosa, Family Resource Center.
Okay.
So that's education nonprofit. Back into education, worked at a community college for about 3 or 4 years as an advisor. And so actually when I started with Live Fund, I came on as a business advisor.
Okay.
And so for about maybe 5-6 years ago, kind of transitioned to a business development officer. So that's kind of my background as far as my career, but I also do, public speaking and a whole bunch of other things too. On the side. So I'm an entrepreneur and
and you keep up with all your records.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Okay. So the dual career path.
Yeah.
I always like that. Eddie, what you thinking? You think it's something I see it like at the top of your head where that light is?
I don't know. I was thinking about the comment about business being considered a business, and then it was like, I'm doing therapy. I own a business and I'm doing the work too, because I'm a therapist.
Man,
you know what I'm saying? So just in my head about that.
You just made my head hurt.
Are we finna stop doing therapy and just let the work be being done from our business? Is that what you finna do?
No, I ain't ready yet. Not yet. Almost.
One day.
One day.
Aspirations.
One day. I can see that one day. The piece of like with our profession, the paperwork piece is what like what? Because it's the people work that's so important for me. The people work is most important. So by the time I've done the people work, the paperwork, you want a note every time, and you want me to keep up with my numbers too, and pay the rent and sweep the steps. Oh man, this is a lot.
I understand. My degree is in counseling, so I did a little work in the I understand. Yeah. I understand that. Yes, that's a lot.
I'm about to go take a self-care trip right now. I'm gonna let y'all finish the show. I'm about to go.
Yeah, the whole degree that focus on talking to people, and you think I got my degree to talk to people, and then it's like this paperwork. It won't get you paid. It'll get you in trouble if you don't keep up with it properly, because you're gonna get audited potentially, and you get subpoenaed. Courts need records from client, like especially when I'm collaborating with a DHR, Child Protective Services, and lawyers are calling me up and they saying, "Hey, we need you to be at the court."
Nobody knows that all of this goes into the work that we do. So now you know it's not just sitting there saying, well, no, it's none of that. So much more than that. We need some money. Okay, so therapists need some money to figure out how to switch the game up, clearly, because Crystal done told us we doing it wrong.
Right. We ain't got no business.
Man, y'all just working. You just made a real job. Golly. Before we go to break, what else are you all thinking in studio that DeAndre may be able to speak to? Because when we come back, we are going to really dig and try to help some businesses be successful. On Sunday nights, you prepare for the rest of the week. So by Wednesday, he should be getting a lot of phone calls from a lot of business owners. But it's at 6 months. That's probably going to be scary. What y'all think about? You call them your 6 months? You ready for 6 months? Get in the mic.
I'm calling it Monday, even if it's to prepare me, you know what I'm saying, to where 6 months from now I am prepared.
Okay.
And see, you have to be focused enough to be able to take the denial to get prepared to get the acceptance.
I think that's
so.
If
I talk to him on Monday, he say, "Hey man, I can't do nothing from you." My next question to him is, "What do I need to do so the next time I cross your threshold, we don't have to do this?" So I need just like he has a real conversation with people, I have to have that real conversation, and then my work comes in showing that I'm willing to dedicate myself to the work. So the next time we had a conversation, we didn't have no conversation. We just went, I picked the check up.
Turn up, bruh. I'm like, Dwayne. We funding that songs and them sprinkles. Okay.
I know. I said I'm planning to get in touch with that foundation you were talking about. Can you say it again?
SBDC.
Yeah.
SBDC. Mm-hmm.
And I gave my email address. I can send it to you.
Okay.
He's gonna consult you. That's what you're gonna do. So Eddie, we know what we gotta do. So you know what you gotta do. Kate, what does it say for you and then Eddie? I ain't lying. Hey, you want to take a trip?
I mean, I agree, especially what Crystal just said. Like, that's my goal, to get up out of the actual day-to-day business, working in the business. Like, a part of my job is to be within the community. How can I talk to the community if I'm constantly in my office, not able to do anything but work on the ad needs that I have then? So I totally agree with that. You just working right now. And that's how I feel. I'm just working. And like you all said, it's so many components to somebody's job. Like, a lot of people think my job is glamorous. I just posted, I think that was Friday. I'm in the 95-degree hot weather by myself in a cemetery because a part of my job is to wait until a body is lowered into the ground. That's when my job is over.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know that. They think that we just throw on whatever and look
drop the film off.
Yeah, and drive a car. That's not even 5% of what we do.
Right.
So, I mean, when people looking at a business and you think that it's going to be $1 million deal and we can do this, that, and the third, know that you got to have a lot of compassion and a lot of know-how behind all that before you think that you can get into that same business. Just with my business alone, it's 30 plus Black firms just in Birmingham alone. It may look easy, but it's not. you gotta really, really know that this is something that you want to jump into, and that's with any profession. Like you all having to go being subpoenaed for court
All
dates
that
and all
suspended
that.
too.
You got to know how to manage all that and take care of your lifestyle.
Look, it's the day to day. I was just thinking this earlier today. People do not know what it takes to be you, period. Whoever you are. Like nobody else knows that but you. And then imagine when it's so much when so much comes with being you and the pressure that is applied. But then when you have the right resources, the right team, it may be a tad bit easier. So that's why we have DeAndre Peterson in from the Lift Fund today. Eddie, you got the last words, and then DeAndre.
Question is, so let's say that like you as an individual are right on the edge where the underwriter is thinking. Does it benefit you if you started a business already and the income is coming in that represents a possibility of being able to pay that loan back more easily? Does that help, or does it go solely off the individual and it's like we don't care what's coming in, we just looking at you exclusively?
Yeah, it does help. It does help. We have new businesses, sometimes, or existing businesses that may have gotten a new contract, but you only got paid, maybe one time from that. But it is something that's going to be paying you every month. That does help. That does help. Now, a lot of them won't factor that into your debt income ratio, but they will. Your projection. They will add that to your projections, and that's a solid projection. Gotcha. Yeah. So we will look at that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Then you got to work to build a contract. More work.
Yeah. And last thing, and I shared this, and I'm glad you said I shared. I was talking to some business owners yesterday. We were doing a seminar, and I said, a lot of people they want their business because they say they want to be their own boss.
Yes.
Well, when you go from having one boss as an employee to a whole bunch of bosses as a business owner, because your customers are your bosses. And so when you're at the graveyard, when you're doing the paperwork, they call you, those are your bosses telling you got to do that. Yeah. So, it's not for everybody. It's very rewarding in the end, but you got to have the right entrepreneur mindset,
right,
to actually take that lead.
All right. So we're listening. We're learning. When we come back for the second hour, we're going to go a little bit deeper into these pockets and into this paperwork and see who we can help. We're learning more about Lift Fund and just business finances from DeAndre Peterson, who is the Business Development Officer over the Delta region for Lift Fund. Dream it. Fund it. We'll be back with more on B94.9 WATV. We're on Sunday nights. The V stands for Vital.
WATV Birmingham. Quick break. French Broadcasting Company. My station! We are the all-new V94.9 WATV. V stands for variety. With D in the morning. More music. Heard all over the world by telling Alexa to launch my V94.9. We have launch commit. The best variety of music turns up right now. Coming all-new V94.9 WATV. I'ma keep it real with the world on. Keep on making moves like microwaves. Title, that's vital. I'ma give them something they can shine to. Take your guys down, show me what your mind is. Lady walk down for the fight like Michael. Titles, that's vital. 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 Very important. That's the kind of it's vital. That's vital. Very important. We thinking that this.
Welcome back. Told you it was real quick. B94.9 WATV on Sunday nights. The V stands for Vital. Got my people with me. The crew is in the building. And special guest, Mr. DeAndre Peterson from the Lift Fund. And we are learning. We're learning. Business owners are learning. And I want to go here with it because so many business owners now are influencers. There are people who I am my business. Like Lady Wu is a business. And hair, nails, clothes, shoes, dental appointments, dry cleaning, gas in the vehicle that I use to travel to where I'm going to do my work. When you think about all of those things and like how random it may be that I'm doing these things, I'm being my business. What would you suggest for those who are influencers? If they're getting paid from Facebook, they're getting paid from Instagram, they're getting paid from where else are people influencing? YouTube, like how does that go? What does that look like?
Yeah, in forms of applying for loans, for lending.
Yeah, because I mean, these influencers may need a new computer, a screen, a microphone, an assistant. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. All those monies, and we come back to our point earlier. Make sure those monies, as many places they're coming from, going into a legitimate bank account. And so, and if you're getting like a lot of time, you may get $10,000 from YouTube this month and nothing next month. But that's seasonal. That's kind of like people that mow grass. We understand that. During the winter, so we may actually last 3 months bank statements. Okay, well, if that's November, December, January, it's not going to be that high. And so my next question is, okay, what you need a loan for right now? The grass not growing. But now if you are transitioning that into, you may be cleaning buildings in the winter or something like that.
Okay.
So we may, let's look back further. Let's see how you're doing during the summer and on that. But so if you're an influencer, all that, it is something new. But they still make money.
Yeah, they make a lot more money than people with degrees.
Right. They do. The issue normally with those type businesses, they don't have any collateral. Or they don't have much collateral because their business is on the phone or it's in a studio. They may have computers. We can use that, computers and desks and tables and chairs for collateral. Normally, that's the issue with that, and maybe not as consistent of income.
Gotcha.
That's normal, but we can definitely work with them.
Let's flip it from influencers to retired people who want to do something new. Fixed income, you kind of see what it is. It is what it is, and we need a building because now we're about to jump into a new venture. We're retired and established for the most part, but we don't have that extra money to do this. What does that look like?
Yeah, it depends on what the new venture is.
Okay.
We can use retirement income, Social Security, VA benefits. That's consistent money. But now you don't if you're a certain age, you don't want to get a 30-year note for a building. Well, okay, is that what we need to go right now? Now, if it's in the industry that's really jumping, really popping right now, there's a good opportunity, and we can do it. But yeah, we have a lot of individuals that is their income. They're retired, they want to start something else. That's automatic money. That's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
then
does this work in the same instance as, let's say I have a business and I want to use this business to fund another business? Like I'm coming to you for a loan with this business's information, but I want to use it to open another business.
Yeah, that's a no. That's called pass through. Yeah, that's called a pass through business. So no lender is going to fund that. No lender is going to fund that. So you've come to us for a loan for business A. Those funds have to be used on business A.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What would be an example of that? Like if I have a beauty shop and then within my beauty shop I get like a product. I create a product.
No, that's fine.
Yeah. Oh, I can do that?
Yeah, that's fine. That's still up on you. An example of that would be if you got a beauty shop and you got a car wash.
In the back, right?
Yeah, which is a total different business structure.
So I can't use money from the inside to pay for the outside?
No, that's a different business.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a different business.
Yeah,
that's
a 459 type of business. Okay.
One of my, and this is transparency. I'm a business owner. I own several businesses, but one of my biggest downfalls have been credit and credit issues, right? So my thing is that when things were doing well for me, I purchased a lot of things for my business. So not just being collateral, my credit has been an issue. But if I own a vehicle, own 2 vehicles, I own my trailer, I own my inventory, you know what I'm saying? But I rent a warehouse. So are those things allowed to kind of even that off or make it more, because these are things that are actually have value in equity, right?
Yeah. And I will say, the better collateral, the more collateral, the better. The more cash flow, the better. Cash is king. Cash is king. Okay. And if your credit is over leveraged because of your business, then we can work around and we can work with that. If you say, okay, I took out one of those loans you hear on the radio.
Don't say it out loud.
Right. We got a business loan that you took out, or you max your credit card using it for business purposes, and you want to refinance that high interest loan. Right. So we can work with that. We can work it out. So if you're paying $5,000 a month and in loan payments, if we can refinance that down to get you a $1,200 a month payment, we'll do that. Even though your credit is, but you're gonna have to make sure that you can show and document that it is business related and not personal related. Yeah. So that good collateral is good though. That's good. Okay. Yeah, it's good. It's good to have that.
I mean, there are no stupid questions. So I want to say this.
Look, you had to tell yourself that for you.
We prefaced it.
You know, kind of in reference to
My
my last question.
Uh-huh.
So let's just say your business is set up as an enterprise, as opposed to, let's just say, in an LLC. Could that same thing work in that instance? Like I'm getting a loan under the enterprise per se, and this business falls up under that.
Yeah, it depends. You still have to tell us what is the scope of your business. Like you're getting this loan, you got to tell us why you're getting it, what are you going to use it for. So, for instance, when you apply on the application, you can say, okay, I need $20,000. I need 10 of it for working capital. I need 10 of it to buy equipment. So, okay, what type of equipment? Then if that equipment does not match the business that you apply for, the underwriter says, okay, well, because we may purchase that equipment. And so, like for large equipment, just say if you need a work truck, we're going to purchase that work truck and keep the title for collateral. So, and you just go pick it up, right? And so we need to know that when you apply, we need to know what you're going to do with it, basically.
Yeah, I got a lot of questions.
It's going to have to be, because we have fraud.
I'm giving you my money.
Yeah, people come. You cannot imagine the requests that we get, and all lenders get. And so, yeah, they are very, very strict on that.
So
Okay.
what are the consequences for finding out somebody doing that? Is it just, okay, we take this money away and you owe us money back? Or is it like this was a fraudulent intention and you about to go to jail today?
We
is it like no?
Yeah.
Go to jail.
Yeah, I would say I don't necessarily know because we hadn't gotten there. Because the underwriters are trained to find that. So I can't necessarily speak on it, but I know that loan probably would be called due. So, and especially in the SBA loan, you don't want to play with that because, SBA and IRS first cousins. So, yeah.
I think people feel that the SBA is softer because it's soft. It's small business. It's nice. We're giving you, IRS ain't giving nothing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And see, with the SBA, with Live Fund, especially, we're CDFI. And so when we lend you the money, just say if we lend you $50,000, we're lending you $50,000. The SBA is just coming in to guarantee 80 to 85% of that loan if you default on it. So we only have 15% coverage, exposure rather on that. So you're not getting the money from the SBA. Like they're not giving us money to lend to you.
Yeah.
They just backing it for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to go back to this statement about the importance of collateral. Somebody may be listening and not even know what collateral is. Is collateral like putting the house up? Is it like what would y'all think? My gold chain.
You talking about some of the excuses we would come up with?
Like I got this.
Like I got my grandma's house, but she's still living, but she promised it to me in the will kind of thing.
What's collateral?
Yeah, I will say for us, we don't use your primary residence. So we don't use the equity in it. We don't use anything with your primary residence. Now we will take rental property.
Even if you own that residence. Like
right.
Out,
yeah, it doesn't matter.
Payments
it doesn't matter. No, that's just a policy that we have. I'm sorry. Right. No, we won't take it. Just our policy. Live Fund. Now bank probably will. Yeah, but now we will look at rental properties. We will look at raw land.
What about collections? I collect rare gems.
Not really, because
they're worth a lot somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere. But it's gonna cost so much money for us to get that appraised and get the market value if we have to get it. So, but we like vehicles that you own free and clear.
Okay.
And that means you got the title in your hand.
Okay.
Yeah, it's in your hand. You got it's paid off free and clear. Not one payment left. We can't.
I just got one.
We like that. We like office equipment, like computer. We like machinery. Equipment. Things like that. We like those type things.
Tangible.
Yes.
Yeah.
Louis Vuitton bag.
Not necessarily.
Dang.
Not even a Birkin.
Jordan.
A Birkin going for about $25,000.
You can test the authenticity.
Yeah. I mean, possibly.
Okay.
Possibly. It's possible.
Yeah.
It's possible. Like that's one of those I'll send the underwriting. So what you think about this? So it's not automatic. No.
All right.
It's not automatic.
Okay.
But now you're going to need more than just those bags now, unless you're in that business. So if you're in the business of selling those bags, we can use percentage of your inventory for collateral.
So the collateral needs to match the ask?
Not necessarily, but a Birkin bag does. Yeah.
I got the Birkin bag and I want to start a lawn care service and get 5 riding lawnmowers.
Yeah, so you don't need it. We just use those lawnmowers for collateral.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Because
he did say that they'll probably 9 times out of 10 buy it.
Yeah, we can use what you have or what we call unencumbered. You hadn't bought it yet, but you buy it with the loan, then we can use that for collateral.
We're learning tonight. If you're learning, put your hands up. For all of you who are tuned in and watching on social media, thanks for doing that. Yeah, this is a very vital show for anybody that that's interested in business, that's learning, or that needs to know what they need to get their business off the ground. It's the Lift Fund, and this is the information that a lot of us need. Really, really.
So I think he just answered a question for me in my head. I see a lot of businesses that pop up, right? And they pop up with, say, guy lives around the corner from me, and he popped up with a brand new truck, brand new equipment, lawnmowers, right? Brand new everything, and started a business. So would that possibly be something if they had credit or they were on their job but they want to go full time, right? Would that be something sort of kind of what Lyft would do, where they would get all that equipment for that startup job, utilize his income or his credit to help, and then help start that business? Or y'all don't do startups at all?
Yeah, we do. We do startups. We do. Of course, the startups, you're gonna have a job. You're gonna have an alternative source of income, and you're gonna need a business plan. And so, we will look at your projections, but we won't factor them in to your debt to income ratio. Only thing we're gonna factor in is all the money you're making right now.
What if I just quit because God gave me the vision to go ahead and jump out? You said dream it, fund it, and I dreamt it, and here I am today asking for $500,000.
Keep a day job. That's right.
Yeah, here I am.
Keep a day job. Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
You're gonna. That's a requirement. You need an alternative source of income.
Keep your job. Now, have you all heard that when it comes to I'm stepping out? Normally, I hear I quit my job and I gave it everything I had. What y'all think about that?
I think it depends on what you're doing. Because my dad always taught you have a job and then you work your hustle. You don't quit one job without having another one planned up.
Okay.
But I mean, for me, it was different because I had a job. I had 2 jobs. And I stopped working my job to do this job full time. So, I mean, I just think that it takes planning. It takes planning and preparation because I was on my job 12 years.
Okay.
And what I did was utilize, when I stepped down from my job, the monies I had at my job to help me laterally cross into the business. So that money, I knew where I was going and I knew it was coming to time. So I was working, but like he said, but I had a financial person that was working with me lately, and he was like, bro, you're going to need a job. I'm like, no, I just need to make this better because with a job, this business will tank out because I got to be here. So I know what you're saying, Will, that sometimes working will cause the business to go away. So when is it proper? In my eyesight, it's proper once you make it and can dedicate full time to it. Because I'm doing this full time now. So it's like, if I worked a job, but even in that, I still have a part-time job.
Okay.
Like now I have a part-time job. So.
Okay. So if I come to DeAndre with Dwayne's situation, like I have my business that I feel is working and I have a part-time job. What does that sound like?
Yeah, that's good.
Also, he doesn't need to have a full-time job.
No, man, he's not a startup though.
Okay, so that's only for startups.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah, only for startups. And Lift Fund startup is someone that has only been making revenue for under 6 months.
Okay.
So if you're over 6 months, you're not a startup. Yeah, he's an existing business, so he didn't have to have. We'll just look at his business revenue.
All right.
Yeah.
The vision of Lift Fund transforms lives by opening doors, leveling the financial playing field, and building a community of shared success. We're more than a small business lender. We are change agents invested in our clients' success. I like that. Would you all be embarrassed to show your financials to someone that you don't know?
I wouldn't. But I also had a question. Would they do multiple, if you're one person with multiple companies?
Mm-hmm.
How does Lyft feel about 2 businesses with 1 owner? I mean, I guess you have to have separate bank accounts, different things for them, but how would y'all feel about 2 businesses, 1 owner?
Yeah, well, right now the policy is 1 business per household. So if it's you, even if you own 2, we're gonna do one loan per. As far as Lyft Fund is concerned, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Now you can come back and get another loan for that business, or once you pay that one, I get the other one, but at the same time, just that one.
All right, so one business at a time.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
thought you were thinking.
I show my income. I've been having to show folks my income for some time.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I mean, it's you gotta either you got it together or you don't. All of us are working on getting our stuff together.
You got 6 months, and I just got on Temu.
I can tell you for me.
You've been on Temu.
Don't judge me.
Yeah, right.
Don't judge me. That's the reason why I'm here.
Yeah.
So we're gonna be defensive. Like, look, don't ask me about that. That's why I can't.
Is it not on there? Do you not see it?
Yeah. and keep in mind, now we're gonna look at last 6 months of credit. We're only gonna look at last 3 months of income and revenue.
Okay, I'm like, keep in mind, I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my finances.
3 months.
Listen, I'm sensitive about my score.
Okay.
And it's a 300.
Don't ask me why Amazon on their 10. Don't do that.
Hey,
Just look at this. Look at that.
So you are looking for markers of an irresponsible person in that sense.
Eddie, you need to be quiet.
Yeah, well,
Amazon and Temu just stacking down the bank account.
No, I mean, if you got the money to cover it, that's fine. You know, that's. Yeah. But we're gonna be focused on how much do you have left?
Money.
Yeah, how much do you have left in your budget, and what does your credit look like? Right.
Fine.
Or we may require
you can get out my business.
It ain't but $5.
All right.
20 items.
Yeah, see, we're not financial advisors, so you know how you.
It don't matter if you can cover it.
Yeah, we're not financial advisors.
It ain't tricking if you got it. You hear me? You're listening to Vital. This is Vital Conversation. It sounds at that moment like it wasn't. It is. It truly is. Small business owners, startup business owners, those of you who have business questions, you need resources. This is the conversation to be having. Now, this situation right here really stood out to a lot of people in the community when business owners or investors were trying to get property. They needed business loan. No, I don't know what they needed exactly, but he needed money to get these properties fixed or whatever he needed. But nobody would give this man any money to get these properties fixed up. And it made news all over the city, probably everywhere else too. I don't really know what the issue was with that, but you invested in these properties in an area that was underserved, possibly an opportunity area, maybe, but didn't have the resources. Could that person have come to Lift Fund? They brought several buildings, several properties within the same row, right? May have paid like a few dollars for each of these buildings. Some people said they were too raggedy in the first place. You shouldn't have bought them. But the vision that this person had should have gotten him some help from somewhere.
Yeah. What was the reason why he couldn't get funding? Do you know?
They said because he was black. So that's what some people said. Yeah. Other people said because of the area. Others said because it was a bad investment in the beginning. Yeah. I don't know. Mr. Rice, if you're listening, call in because this went big. Like no banks would fund him. Yeah.
I don't really have enough information to
say. That's the size of it. But if I go buy a building if I go get a tax property and I'm able to get that on my own, but then I need the resources to get it going. What does that look like?
Well, is that a business though? Or, individuals can buy properties.
Yeah, it's going to be a business.
But we only do business loans. So first we'll look to see, are you registered with the state of Alabama? As a business that does real estate investment.
Already.
Right. Already. And we didn't even get into real estate investing until recently, and it's limited. It's very limited. Now, with our real estate product, it can't be your first product. It can't be your first project. So we'll fund your second. It can't be your freshman project. So we'll fund your second one when you look at your purchasing real estate, because the SBA does no real estate. And so that's why one of the reasons why we hadn't gotten into it until recently. That's why we're so stringent with we don't do startup real estate investment companies at all.
Okay. Because that everybody feels like real estate is the thing to do. You mean get about 3 flip houses and do that.
We don't do flips. And all of ours are long-term rentals. Long-term investment.
Gotcha. Yeah. All right.
That's speculative. Yeah.
If that's what you're thinking about, think something else for Lift
for
Fund.
Us. Yeah, they go
right for Lift Fund, but you could try elsewhere. All right, in studio, what y'all thinking? Wait. What?
You say that out loud. He's like, hey, if you're thinking it, think something else.
Think something else. I mean, that's just what it sounded like to me. Let's be clear about it. I don't want you to just be drumming up ideas, thinking you're about to get some resources. Yeah, like that's not what happened. That's just not how that went. So, more questions in studio. What are you all thinking about? What have you been motivated to do?
Probably create a very specific business plan for my side hustle candle situation. So I kind of been freestyling it. I haven't put down a business plan, be whether to get a loan for it or not, just being
to have
intentional about how I'm keeping up with everything, and being more intentional about documentation.
Okay.
Is there a listing, or can you provide for free resources as a business owner? A lot of times, when you're just there, give you for instance. So I put on Facebook the other night that I need a digital like bio or whatever, right? Press kit. I need a digital press kit and a resume because I've been submitting to a lot of shows for different TV shows and stuff. And the first thing they ask you for is a digital press kit or bio. And so, or resume. And a lady hit me back on Facebook. She's like, I can help you. I'm like, well, cool. What the help is? She's like, well, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna help you, teach you how to do it, but I'm not gonna do it for you. But it's $250 an hour to teach you to do it. And I'm like, but you know what I'm saying? You're a small business. I'm not tripping off your price, but I'm saying for a small business who's yelling for help, I don't know if I got $250 an hour to pay. So is there
to pay you to show me how to do it? Well, I'm doing it. No, right. You're going to do it.
No, but even if you're doing it for a small business, what I'm saying is sometimes people need things that they need. Is there a place for resources, or can you help them? Like you said, you had a template. I've been in business 8 years. I don't really have a solid business plan. I know it in my head, but as far as giving it to somebody on paper, I don't have that template. So where are these resources that you can get for free? Do you have a list of somebody get in touch with you and get those things?
Yeah, and once again, SBDC is the first one that I will mention. But there is a list of general documents that you're going to need when you apply, and I can definitely email that to you. Of course, you're going to need your bank statements. You're going to we pull TransUnion credit in the credit report. So find out where you're borrowing money from. If it's not us, they use Experian, Equifax, whoever. Go ahead and get your free copy of that. AnnualCreditReport.com. Don't pay for that. AnnualCreditReport.com. Get that. Get your bank statements together. Get your profit and loss statements if you have those. Get your balance sheets together. Those are some of the main ones that that we're going to ask for. Whatever type business you're in, do you make sure you got your licensure in place, especially if you're dealing with people like daycares and hospitals, anything in the medical field. We're going to ask for all that. If you food trucks, you got your food handler license, all those type things. But I can definitely email you a list of what we look for at Live Funded, John.
So basically, those things that you look for, according to each profession, are the things that prove to us before we give you this money that you are very serious about what you're doing.
That's right.
So if you are, I'll just use mine because I know mine. If you're a therapist, I need to know that you are licensed. If you're licensed, you have your credentials and whatever it is that you need. And for us, it's not a whole lot of stuff that we really need. You don't have a whole lot of. What if I had complaints? Tons of complaints. What you gonna say?
Complaints about
my service.
Customers complain about you.
Yeah. Does that affect you giving me money?
I mean, that's a national story, maybe. But other than that, I mean, everybody gonna have complaints.
Okay, so cool. I don't know that I would.
Yeah, everybody go.
I don't know that I would lend if I were lended up. You got a whole lot of complaints. You probably about to get shut down.
Yeah,
I'm gonna deny you.
I'm still gonna listen to your story and see how severe they are. They just didn't like your voice or the way you talk. Okay, that's nothing.
That's the radio world.
Yeah, if you got a case against you. And then you about to go to trial. Well, okay, let's wait. Let's see how this gonna go first.
Well, let me get this money because if I do go to trial, I'm not gonna be able to work. So
yeah. So we'll have to have a long conversation about that.
So you be want to talk. You're a counselor, okay? Yeah. Kate, did you pull that mic to you?
Well, I was just gonna chime in saying, do you all look at Google reviews? But you kind of answered that. I mean, but if you have a lot of bad reviews, then they're showing you not a viable business. So
you need to think.
Yeah, I do. I Google every one of them, every business that and I look at their website. When they put a website on the application, I go to it and check it out. And if I see, I'm gonna call. Hey, I saw this on here. Look what's going on.
Okay, sure. Yeah. Things to consider. What up, Shelton? Shelton says, so what do you do for freshman properties?
You have to look at other means like a bank or personal funders or something like someone to invest in. Yeah.
Okay. So go somewhere else.
Get somebody else to do it.
We'll do that. We'll do that around here.
All right, more questions. If you got them, you can hit us up on the phone lines 994-8949. If you're on the stream that we can see, you can post your questions there. Kate is always interactive. She's talking to my mama now. This is cute. What up, Real? I see you here. Hey. Miss Regina Lavender checked in. Richard Harris. Who else we got up there? Mr. Pullum, two Bobbies and an Isaiah, Bernard, and Keith Williams. Hello to all of you, Miss Marilyn Harris. Hey to you, Courtney J. Beasley, and Patricia Todd. Hey, everybody else that did not say anything on the comments, but hey to all of you. Hello. Thanks for tuning in. I see others of you as well. What up, Kat? Shakira, hey to you. Tanja, hey, everybody that's watching. Miss Regina, hello. Make sure you share this information with somebody that's interested in a business. Kathy has a business, does a lot of work around the city, but if she wants to take her business to the next level, let's go to the pop-up shop. What does that look like? I'm in the pop-up shop world, and I don't want brick and mortar. I want more product.
Yeah. We can definitely do that.
Okay.
Take a look at it. Yeah, depending on what the product is.
Okay.
We hadn't gotten into, the legals yet. The legal thing is illegal in most states.
Okay.
The CBD and all that. We hadn't gotten
I wanted to come and fund my edible business.
No, we can't do that. We can't do that. It's booming right now. We just can't do it.
Okay.
And we don't do adult entertainment.
Oh, man.
Other than
you
that,
can't fund my OnlyFans?
we can't. We
So-
can't do adult
Dang.
entertainment.
What if I'm trying to lay down a track? I'm trying to get my rap game.
Oh, yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Off
Off
the soul
the-
track.
How does that work?
Good
Yeah.
question.
My first question: are you a business? First of all,
Yes.
I'm the business. I'm the
The-
rapper.
right. Now, what is your business model? How are you making money? Because that's right now that's speculative. I'm going to make this and hope somebody buys it. As opposed to I have a product or a service and I have customers already.
Come on with it.
Yeah. So we don't do.
Okay,
Yeah.
so redirect that. If
Uh-huh.
I'm not the rapper per se, but I'm the writer for rappers.
So you selling
That's
tracks.
you see what I'm saying? So that is a product, right?
Right. So my question, okay, what do you need the money for? It's
It's
free to
for
write.
production.
Okay. So do you have a studio?
No.
All right.
Studio time is somebody else's studio.
Right. So we have a long conversation.
Another long
It's a
conversation.
long conversation because it sounds like you're an individual with a gig
Could
right
be
now.
in the
yeah?
scenario of the short conversation.
No, my
Where's your
conversations are long.
paperwork?
My conversations are long. Yeah.
This is really good. And I
Yeah.
know for somebody it may sound comical, but I think the vital approach, like we said in the beginning of the show, the vital approach is often comical because we live these things.
Yeah.
We've seen
Yeah.
our friends live these things. And a lot of times they tell us their business plan and we want to laugh, but it's vital that we listen and we provide resources. And I think
Yeah.
tonight we've done an amazing job of not laughing at our friends' lack of business plan and giving them a resource.
Right. Absolutely.
These are true stories.
I think if you put yourself in the situation of
Yeah.
being somebody that got it, and one of your partners ask you for $10,000,
Ooh,
and you was asking them why, you want to know
I got to
There
that
you
know
go.
all
they
of
ain't
it.
finna tell you one thing and then fund something else. You don't want that.
Right.
You
You
don't
went and
want
bought
them-
T-shirts? Are you serious?
No, what I'm saying is,
No,
you
I'm
said-
saying, Eddie, you asked me for $10,000 to do one thing, and you went and bought T-shirts.
But that's what I'm saying. That's the significance of that long conversation.
I was
Because
like,
if I'm
Dwayne,
gonna give you $10,000, I need to make sure you ain't about to
That's
do
right.
something different with it. I need to make sure you ain't finna you ain't got ulterior motive. Like it's a conversation to have.
Yeah, it is. And keep in mind too, like we get audited. And so we need to make sure that, that everything we did is in place, right? Absolutely. Yeah.
What up, Wendy?
Yeah.
Hey, Isaiah. Alberto Herrera, hello to you. And he has a question as well. Do you have success writing for others and the paper trail to show you've been successful? I guess that would be the question. Like, what does the paper, it's still the paperwork or the portfolio. What does your work look like? Can we prove that you've done this work and you've been successful before I give you this money?
Yeah. You need to have that. You need to have that in place, and you need to have it readily available.
Okay.
So when we get a loan, how we work is, we get a loan application in. My loan consultant will work that application. If she's working that application and she sends you what we call an RDL, which is a acquired document list, and you shoot it right back to her, okay, we're gonna work that file. They're ready, they're prepared. But now if it's 2 weeks before we hear from you, She gonna see me like, yeah, look, we might need to close this.
More like 2 months,
no response.
I don't
Because
want
you need the money, you apply for the money. So, we shouldn't have to call you. I shouldn't have to call you. Hey, did you check your email? Did you, you should be sitting there looking, coming up on your Apple Watch, checking it, send it back.
So
like you're talking to somebody in the room.
Right? Because I think there are a lot of businesses out there that don't have all their proper paperwork, but yet I start this process with you and you send me that list of things to do, right? I'm in the process of getting those things, but I did what I supposed to do. I'm just waiting to get those documentations back. Where do you stand in that?
It depends. I would tell you to put a rush on your accountant. And if it's during tax season, you probably won't hear from them because they're busy.
Yeah,
they're busy. And so, the best you can, get a good grip on that yourself. And I told the business owner yesterday, I think I told him that you don't have to know bookkeeping, but you need to know bookkeeping. You don't have to know what a P&L is, but you need to know what a P&L is. in other words, like you just don't need to let them just shoot it to you. No, let them walk you through it and tell them, okay, how did you get these numbers? Because what you don't want to do is, and this happened to a business, what you don't want to do is when it comes time for you to apply for a loan, and they send you, and we get your tax returns, and it shows on there that you made $10,000 because your accountant only want to make sure you got a big refund. Okay, you might have got your big refund, but you're not gonna get a loan because you didn't make but $10,000 last year. So make sure you know all your numbers and you approve all those.
Now, I guess with the SBA being involved in that scenario, would that turn into? Does that link strong enough to turn into an audit at some point? Or is it just a loan denial?
That's just a denial.
Gotcha.
Yeah. No, we don't get.
I was about to say,
no, we don't get into that part.
Hey, he ride clean, but he made $10,000 last year.
Yeah,
so
because for all we know,
dirty.
That's all you made. You made $10,000 legal dollars. It's just not enough to get a loan. Yeah.
I got a question. So when you say that, right? So what if you have a business that, in turn, on paper, you don't look like you made profit because you utilize those funds to continue running that business, right? So I've been in business 8 years. I've made money, but continually
put it back
into the business.
Day.
So it looks like when I go to major banks or when I go to regular funding sources, my denial generally comes from either my credit or the fact that on paper, it looks like you're not making any money because either your accountant, you're not making enough over it, but you're making enough to survive. And the proof is that you've been legally an entity for 8 years and you still got inventory. So then I guess you said you do utilize inventory, because the other thing is that regular financial institutions, they don't do the collateral thing a lot of times, but y'all do. Okay, cool.
I think what I just heard in that too is something that you said earlier about the money hitting the bank, and it almost makes me want to say card only. Like
it's easy.
Yeah, like no cash app, just card only, and that way I don't have to be concerned about the bank not seeing it. Like, yes, this came into the business, and then you also see that when I spend it out of the account, it went to Sam's, or I spend it at Restaurant Depot or whatever. Yeah. Just to kind of make it easier, even though on a daily basis it's not that easy because I'm stopping at Jimmy Nick's or whatever it is we're doing, right? Yeah. So a lot of real life scenarios here tonight about how we do our business. I know that for Kate, your business was basically given to you ready wrapped, and then you had to modernize it. How could you see yourself having this conversation, having to go back and sit down and do this, like do what we're talking about as far as like asking for something and what that looks like with a business that is already structured and functioning?
Are you saying, would I be able to start one from scratch, or
no, would you?
Would I be able to start one from scratch? Yeah, now. I mean, hindsight is always 2020. Yeah.
Okay.
But now I am looking into getting a loan because there are other things that we want to do with the funeral home. I mean, we do amazing work, and it is a profitable business, but you do sometimes need a little extra cushion in there to, expand your business. And that's something we are looking into. So yes, the documentation already gathered, already in the process of, working on the loan, but it's a lot of work. I mean, that on top of running a very busy business is very, very tough. So
Yeah.
start even from starting from scratch or working on existing business and wanting to get more, money to fund other projects you're trying to do. It's a lot of work.
All right. So if you're listening, you have questions, 994-8949. If you are an existing business that you're thriving, but you want to do different things, you may have a question. Call in with that. If you're a new business and you are looking for startup money and you have questions, I think those are most of the most important conversations to have before you even try to jump out there and do it, that you have questions answered and you have knowledge of what you're about to get yourself into. Don't quit your job tomorrow because you heard this show. That we learned that.
That's right.
Keep your job. Even if you don't like it, stack your paper. Create your plan. What else? Keep your job, stack your paper, create a plan.
Pay your bills on time.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Yeah. Get your
put them on auto pay, probably.
Documented. Yeah. I'm going to put my T-Mobile on auto pay.
I might as well, because I ain't ever paying it on time. My grandma be like, the phone is out. Okay, girl, let me go do it.
And the thing I'm finding is get tunnel vision. I mean, things are going to happen. Speed bumps are going to come along the way, but you got to learn the game of pivot, but keep straight on to that tunnel vision of what your end goal is. Because things going to happen.
Yeah.
My job changes every single day, every hour. So I may have planned to work on my plan today or in this hour, but something might come up. So don't put so much constraint on yourself as far as time, but just know that at the end of the day, that's your end goal and you're going to do whatever it takes to get to that end goal.
Yeah. I remember a point in life where I wanted to do something and I went to the credit union one time and she was like, oh, well, let me see. Let me play the sound of what she said. Let's see. It was like, it was like that. But when I went back, she was like, no. So I took that sound and I was like, girl, okay. I went back and she said, oh, look at her. Girl, don't play with me.
Mm-hmm.
When I say I'm going to do something or when I say that I want something, I'm going to do what I'm going to do and I'm going to get what I want. And I did.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things where at the end of it, I super felt accomplished because it wasn't with the help of any commercial I heard on the radio. It was none of that. It was just simple, like tunnel vision and dedication to the goal to be able to do the things that I wanted to do. Now, the 6 month, I heard that the day that I met you, but I also used that to push myself to get to a point of what needs to be done in 6 months, what I want that to look like. Cell phone bill wasn't one of them, but it was some other stuff on there that I tended to. So now we're going to tend to the cell phone bills. Eddie, I'm going to call you in the morning so that we can do that. But then someone here says auto pay will get you every time.
I be just struggling with
Like,
Apple Pay.
what?
Them little Apple Pay charge. Look.
What is wrong with us?
I promise you, they come out the same day every month, but it's just
We gotta
a
write them down.
struggle.
Auto
and then every day
pay,
you got to roll on. Like
Apple
2%.
Pay, Klarna. What's the other one? Affirm.
Yeah.
Like it's $27, but you forgot. Okay, let's keep going. 994-8949 is the number if you want to get in on this conversation and learn more. So, DeAndre, there's something that you deal with every day that you want to talk about, but you haven't had all these millions of people to hear you. So, what would that be?
As far the business, and I kind of said it earlier about when to apply for a loan.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing. Apply for it when you don't need it. Most businesses are, and I understand. You need it when you think about you need it.
Yeah.
Right. We need it. The other thing I would say, and this is, I guess, somewhat taking money out of Lift Fund pocket, is develop a good relationship with a banker. And not just going in and doing transaction relationships. Like they need to know your name, they need to know your business,
Mm-hmm.
they need to know a little bit about your family. If you plan on expanding your family or whatever, the good thing about that is so they can tell you about the products they have coming up.
Okay.
They can help you plan for that and refer you to us to Lift Fund or someone like us if need be. But other than that, I mean, definitely it's not as daunting as I said earlier. Just send me an email. That's the best way to get over me. Send me an email.
Okay.
I don't know if you're gonna do that at the end or not, but send an email to D Peterson. That's DPETERSON at liftfund.com. Give me your first name, last name, business name, email address, and phone number. So first name, last name, business name, email address, and phone number. I go ahead and put you in our system. Reach out, and give you a call. Definitely have a call with me before you apply. Our website is liftfund.com, but don't apply until we have a conversation. Because when you apply, it's going to hit your TransUnion. It's going to be a hard pull.
Ooh.
So it's going to be
100 points.
It won't be that many.
It'll
be just 3 or 4.
Don't get this man email come playing. Make sure you have your stuff and you're legit ready
That's right.
to maximize your business potential. Don't just be doing it talking about, hey, let me get $100,000. And what's your business plan? What's that?
Oh,
right.
That ain't the answer, is it? What's that? Oh,
yeah, what's that? Yeah. But yeah, send that to me. I'm going to send you a link so you can set an appointment. So you're going to be proactive.
Okay.
Yeah. So you send me that information. I'll put you in. I'll send you a link. You schedule a meeting and we'll talk.
That's a good plan right there. Look, let me send you this link because I need to know that you're ready.
Is there I guess, what reason would somebody come to Lift Fund instead of going to these banks and looking at all these other different, loans that they got, programs that they got? Is there a reason why you would say somebody should come check out Lift Bank first?
Awesome question.
Yeah, I mean, if you can look on the bank website, they say our minimum credit score is a 700. If you know you don't have a 700, I'm gonna go, because there's no wiggle room. They're not gonna wiggle. Well, come and talk to us. Or if you're looking for a certain interest rate, like right now, the highest interest rate we have is 9.9%. If you can get an interest rate of 4 at the bank, go get that 4. That 4 gonna require you to have a 720, 730. Or if they say we need this amount of collateral, or we can only use your home or whatever. If you can look on the website or have a conversation, you don't fit that box, come on to us. But if you think you may be borderline, have a conversation with your banker and your lender and say, hey, I heard about Lift Fund, and he said, okay, that's gonna be your best option. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So if you're listening and you're learning these things, go ahead and write them down and pass them on to somebody else. Vital that we share this information, because there are a lot of people with great business plans and business ideas. And even the work and the revenue has shown, like their personalities and their social media is popping. Like everything is working for the businesses, but they need that next step, and they don't have a 700 credit score. Right. They don't have business credit. Period. Everything that we've done, we did it on our own. So I need to come to Lift Fund.
Yeah, let's talk.
Okay.
One thing I can say, this has been like revelatory for me and confirmation at the same time.
Amen.
Because I've been thinking about restructuring my business, going as even far as to enrolling in school for business.
Oh, wow.
Like
Where's
I
my
just
applause here.
Wow.
Hold on.
Congratulations. I know it's helping me.
Yeah.
That's for you. Oh. You, my number one. Yes. Okay. So really getting serious about it. When we do these shows, I get serious about it. I get reignited every time as well, and just go and pull the laptop out and
get back in the lab.
Let's see. Wasn't it a photo shoot? Like all that, just all of that.
Right. And I will say one of them. I'm glad you said that. I will tell business owners, don't get hung up on the small things. Like, don't get hung up on the photo shoot.
Yeah.
Mention that. Don't get hung up on the business cards. Don't get hung up on how pretty the logo is and all. You can have all that stuff done in 3 days. Like literally.
For real.
Yeah, don't waste 2 or 3 weeks focusing on that. Focus on the fundamental things that we talked about today. That is important, but you got to have a business before you got one to market.
Yeah.
Right. All of that is really just part of marketing.
Right.
You still need to have the business structure.
That's right.
Before you're talking about pushing the business.
That's right. Because I don't really care what your logo look like when you come. To Lift Fund.
This is awful. Because I'm sure you're gonna say it.
Yeah.
This is awful.
I will tell you, but I won't tell my underwriter that. But I will tell you, this is bad. It's bad. It's clip art from 1990.
Oh,
so this one not gonna get it.
I need some. Now that we've done the other work, let's talk about this.
Yeah, fix this.
See, and so I think, but that's what happens with a lot of us. We get excited about what we've been given, what we think that we've seen that we should be doing, and we jump out there and try to do it, and then have to circle back to this conversation. Yeah. Which is why it's an imperative conversation. It's vital that we have these conversations before you jump out here.
Yeah.
Before you start saying, before you get business cards, photo shoots, and logos, why do you even have that? We don't even know what your cakes taste like.
Right.
And I think most of it has to do with the hearsay of it all. Well, such and such told me this, so we go by that.
Oh, goodness.
And then we get roadblock, and then someone says this. So I would encourage any person who's looking to get a business, who has a business, even if that business is established, seek some kind of professional help.
Yeah.
To make sure that your business is legit one.
Absolutely. Business credit versus personal credit. A lot of people don't know how to even establish business credit. Like so I have a business and EIN and whatever's needed, but how do you establish business credit?
Yeah, I'll send you to the SBDC.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's your one stop.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll go there. We don't get into too deep of counseling or advice on that. We do use your personal. Now, if you get one of our larger SBA loans, it will go on your business credit. But as far as us, we're looking at your personal and your global cash flow.
So can I say something? As my pastor would always say, to make the devil out of a lie. Can you speak to those people who are thinking about using their CPNs to come and apply for a loan?
What is a CPN?
I can't be necessarily the one to tell you.
Like some kind of normal.
I just know what it. It's almost like a secondary social.
Yeah. Okay. So
that's what.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about.
Yeah.
Don't do that. No, don't do that. And we're gonna when you apply, I promise you, the system is advanced. So before we even get it, it's gonna run the metrics of all kind of different points that it's looking for. And so when we get it, we're gonna get a score. And if you got 2 Social Security numbers, it's gonna red flag you, and you won't even get to me.
Somebody just mentioned that the other day. Like I could get it in my own name, or I could use a CPN. Another girl I know got a CPN.
It won't work.
Like what is that? Not an EIN. Okay, so go to the SBDC.
Your real
SBDC. And get all this information.
SBDC.
SBDC. Yeah. All right, look that up now, and maybe do that before you email.
And they free.
Mr. Peterson.
He said they're free.
Yeah. Okay. And I will say, go ahead and you kind of alluded to it earlier that when you're a business owner, you don't know how your day is going to go. So when you're an employee, you just about do. What you're going to do. You go to work. That's a head down position. And I was telling business owner yesterday, as an entrepreneur, you got to work in a head up position. And so any opportunities out there that the chamber is offering, any opportunities that your local organization, that your church, whoever's offering, you got to go to those events. Like you got to meet those people. I heard you speak. I don't know if you know I was there. The last place you spoke at, I was there. I was at the table there. So you got to put yourself in those environments because you're always looking for opportunities for your business. You can't just work and go home. Like you got to work in a head up position.
You got to see me at a conference, baby. I'm at the conference.
Yeah.
Look at the one. Man, look at you.
Yeah, I'm tired. Okay.
For real.
Look, you still got to drag yourself to that mixer because you never know if you're going to meet that's going to transform or revolutionize and catapult your business.
Gonna be outside looking like this.
I mean, so that was a shot to the introverts.
That's a shot to all of us because I'm like, what? And you see what I do for a living? I got to go do it and smile like that. Okay.
That's right.
But for me, when I'm there, and I'm ready to be there, and I'm ready for the results of it. Most times, if I'm not, I'm not. That just is what it is. That's the counseling part of me. I'm always mindful, always present.
Yeah.
I ain't coming. All right, Dwayne, what you over there saying?
I think more than even with liver, that this conversation was a healthy way to educate some of our business people and to know the difference between a business and a hustle. We're not knocking your hustle, but sometimes people want to put themselves in a space where you are, you know what I'm saying, and don't have no idea that it takes more than you like it or you think you want to do it to really call it a business. I remember me getting the first time I got into a store, the reason I got into the store was because the lady said, I actually was prepared to just see you and go to lunch. She said, but the reason I'm going to give you an opportunity to meet with the president is because you were one of the first people to come across my door and have everything you needed as far as your paperwork. And, that was a blessing that was really, really has set the standard for me in my business. I try to make sure that I have, I may not have the funding, I may not have the credit, but when it comes to paperwork, when it comes to looking professional, each level that I do, I try to do it because I'm preparing for it to be that someday. You know what I'm saying? That sold as that, taken as that, and just preparing. So I think the word to whatever businesses are listening, just be prepared and put it in place and see it as a business and treat it like a real business, but know that business takes work. Like you said, sometimes we don't want to be there, but we have to. I want to be home with my wife with my feet up, but sometimes because I have a business where people have to buy it, if they don't know that it's out there and that it's available, then I just got a hobby where I'm sleeping on inventory. So,
And then especially if you're looking at the current market of business, a lot of it is shifting. When you're looking at these major corporations who are losing stores, closing stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's a major shift now in business to where if you're just a small business now, tomorrow you can be a big business because you provide some kind of service, some kind of something to the world per se.
Yeah.
That can blow you out. And if you don't have this stuff ready, you might not be ready for an IPO tomorrow.
Yeah, get ready. I shared with businesses yesterday. I keep alluding to it. I did a workshop yesterday. Apple, Mary Kay, Ford, and I think IBM all started as home-based businesses.
Yep. And now we all know them. I watched
Hershey was on there. It started
Starbucks. Too, I've watched several. Yeah. It's a show. I can't think of the name of the show, but it talks about the origins of all of these brands and businesses that we use and shop with on a daily basis and how they started, whose idea it was, who sold it to who bought it from who went and got investors. Just last week, I was in Milwaukee for the Harley Davidson anniversary and saw the first loan that they got, like a handwritten loan from somebody to start their business. And those stories really mean a lot because it makes you know that your struggle is not any different from anybody else's as far as having to build something, even though your story may be different. DeAndre, you got about 4 minutes. You want to go for 4?
Yeah,
go for 4.
No, can't do that long. But
we'll jump in. We got you.
Yeah, but I will just a few things for small business owners. Make sure first of all that you got a product or service that people want to buy. You couldn't believe the amount of people that they think people want to buy it. So do some testing, get some social proof. I have a friend right now. I don't know if she's listening. I hope she is. That we go to church together and she makes pudding. Every event we have, she makes banana pudding, and people, I love your pudding, love your pudding, love your pudding. And so I said, how much you sell this pudding for? She's like, I just like making it. I give it to people. I said, stop, And so we're in the process right now of now she has started to charge for her pudding. So in the process now of helping her, she's enrolled in a business accelerator that we have in Tuscaloosa, Mamba area over there.
Okay.
So make sure that people want to buy that product or service. Make sure you have good customer service.
Okay.
Make sure if you don't have the best phone voice, get somebody else to answer your phone.
Yeah.
Don't answer the phone. Hello, if your business, you need to answer. It's a great day or whatever.
Right.
Get somebody else to do that, and also make sure that your business, as you said, is not a blockbuster or movie gallery. Make sure. I don't care how good, how clean your VHS store is and your 8-track store is right now. You got the cash flow to support it to get the loan. We're not going to fund you for a VHS store or an 8-track store, because it is outdated. We're not going to give you money for a red box right now because of streaming and everything. So make sure your business model is not outdated.
That's
and the other thing, make sure you're taking advantage of all the new technology that's going on with AI and all that kind of stuff. It is extremely important. And check that credit.
Okay.
Come right back to that.
Yes, it goes back to the basics. Now, with you saying that, it did bring up something for me that I meant to ask earlier about funding for nonprofits. You all are a nonprofit. Do you fund nonprofits that only have the nonprofit? Like, we have to have that to start, but the work that we're doing is going to take some money.
Yeah, we do. Now, we don't do startup nonprofits. So with nonprofits, you need to be at least 3 years in.
Okay.
With nonprofits, and all the stuff with nonprofits,
a lot of stuff,
a lot of paperwork, and all that. So you have two options. With nonprofits, you can either personally guarantee it as the executive director, CEO, what you can do that, and we can treat it as a regular for-profit loan, or we can look at your audited financials. Nonprofits don't have to get those because they're expensive.
Yeah.
And so we can use either one. But we don't do startup nonprofits. But we do fund nonprofits like churches. We can look at that. I have a couple of that I've done over last year. A couple organizations we did last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I definitely wanted to ask that. I don't know why that just came. I think something that you just said, but I was thinking about that because that, like when you said about everybody doing what they hear somebody else say to one. Like, well, yeah, they told me I needed an LLC. That was the thing for me. Everybody needed an LLC. Then, if you get a nonprofit, man, them nonprofits get them grants. They get that money. So then you go get a nonprofit. And that's about the size of it. You go get them. But if it's working, it's legitimate, the paperwork is in order, it can be funded and supported.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I will say, research has found that in settings like this, or when I'm speaking or whatever, that only about 5% of people are going to take action.
Okay.
And so I'm just going to tell you the 5%, let's do it. And the other 95, we'll see you next time. And so make sure you're part of that 5 and not that 95%. After you hear information that can change your life, you'll think about it for a little while. Oh, I need to do this. By this time next week, the feeling is gone. And so make sure that you do something tonight before you go to sleep tonight. Do one thing tonight, do one thing tomorrow, do one thing every day. And then when you're ready for that, get that funding. Let's talk.
All right, now, well, I was in the room and I took action by getting you on the radio. So thank you so
did.
much for coming tonight and for sharing all this great information.
Thank you for having me.
I think that a lot of people have been ignited, and hopefully we may just get more than 5%. I know that collectively, all of us have businesses and friends with businesses who could benefit.
Awesome.
So it may be 10%.
Absolutely. Yeah. Send me an email, dpeterson@liftfund.com, and we'll go from there.
All right. Anybody in studio, what's happening this week? Any announcements?
Not this week. I did go to the Beyonce concert.
You went to Beyonce concert? Which one you went to?
Nashville.
The one that Carla was going.
She jealous of you. I ain't have time to be fooling with that. That ticket was bought 6 months ago.
Okay. How many times did she change? Every song?
5.
Okay.
It's about 5 or 6.
Okay, well, I'm glad you did that. I went to Erykah Badu's concert this week. It was a great opportunity. Took my little baby, who's not a baby. She wanted to go. Mom, let's go see Erykah Badu. So guess what we did? We went to see Badu. It was cool.
Shout out to Most Def for the twirls.
Ooh. Then she got out there and twirled.
Oh, yeah, she twirled all right.
All right. Y'all have to follow us on social media for all these between the lines conversations and comments that we make. You can find all of us on social media by visiting Vital Show on social media, on Facebook. That's where everything is all the time, and you can find us there. I would say tune in tomorrow at noon for Lady Wu's Midday Fun Shui, and we'll be back on on the road again.
yeah. Man, I'll be at a funeral next Sunday, but guess what? I got a cheesy little promo. Y'all come see me every Friday. I have the best fish fry every Friday in the city in Bessemer, 1200 Howard Avenue. Y'all come out at your boy.
5 BS Birmingham, WATV Birmingham.